Speaking of new coaches, new GMs, new everything, Sean, a lot of people got hired and fired. So we just talk about the hiring. We're gonna go through. I got let me see how many I got on the list. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just four. Just four. Four coaches on the list, and I want you to grade them. Tell me what you think from this grade. New hire, Chicago Bears. Ben Johnson. What do you grade it and why?
B plus. B plus. I think it's a good.
Okay.
I think it's a good hire. I don't know if it's a slam dunk hire. Apparently, I believe he's hiring Dennis Allen as his defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's your guy. Hey.
So okay. Dennis Allen. No, listen. Dennis Allen's a great defensive coordinator, but the worst head coach should never be a head coach of anything. Ever.
He said, "Don't let him lead nothing."
Nothing. As I've always said, the man can't manage a damn Dairy Queen. So no. That said, I think it's a B plus. I think again, if everybody expects it to look the Bears offense to look exactly like the Lions offense these past couple of years, pump your brakes. It doesn't necessarily work that way.
You don't got no Jahmyr Gibbs up there.
Right. They have to build an offense and a system around the skill sets of the guys they have, starting with Caleb Williams. But again, for me, when you hire a head coach, SB, again, as I stated multiple times, it is not about hiring a head coach who has an expertise on one side of the ball. It's about hiring a person who can build a culture and is a leader of people.
Yep.
And that's what remains to be seen about Ben Johnson. We'll see. But right now, I'm giving it a B plus. You weaken the division opponent by getting him.
Yep.
And I think you strengthen your offense by getting him. But you got to build a culture, and you got to show that you can lead and people and get guys to buy into you. So I'm gonna give it a B plus.
Plus, I like that. I'm gonna give it an A minus for two things that you said. One, you said you weaken a division opponent. And then you went and got an offensive guy because you know you got a generational talent at quarterback, and you went for his needs, but also he doubled up and protected himself by going to get Dennis Allen, your guy, so he can run a solid defense. That's what I'm gonna give it an A minus right now. Obviously, my only concern is what you alluded to is can Ben Johnson show leadership? We get that you great at play calling, which he already announced that he's going to do play calling on the offensive side, I would presume, and not defensively. So I would just want to see how can he lead and how can he handle adversity, because what Dan Campbell did, people laughed at it and thought it was funny when he was talking about biting kneecaps and all talking crazy. But guess what? That team will run through a brick wall for him. And that's what you got to have as a coach, no matter how good you is at play calling. Because play calling only going to get you, that's only a part of the recipe. Leadership and get your team into believe in what you're saying, that matters the most. But for right now, I'm gonna call it A minus.
Just one slight correction. Dennis Allen is not my guy. I have never liked Dennis Allen. I will never like Dennis Allen. If I saw Dennis Allen in the streets, I wouldn't even acknowledge him. He'd just be another dude. Okay, we can move on.
Hey, I thought you gonna hit the Bernie Mac. If I see a street, I get a rock, I'll bust you in your head. All right, next up on the list. The New York Jets hire Aaron Glenn as the next head coach. And Sean, when I seen this, just off instant reaction, and I think, do my research and looked up, I was mad about this one because I felt like this is a trap job, and they're gonna use Aaron Glenn to blame him for something. But I forgot he actually played for the Jets, so that kind of make more sense of him going there because I ain't want this to be somebody gets a job just to has as a trap job, or I hope he'll get this job and build something up, and then they try to replace this guy after he builds something up. So I hope there's not a trap job. I hope the Jets genuinely want him there. Maybe he got a good relationship with ownership there, which I'll be shocked, but because of him as a former player, so hopefully that is good. I think Aaron Glenn has the leadership factors. I want to see what can he handle when it comes to adversity with like the team. on a day-to-day basis. What his adjustments is the only thing that I would be concerned about. But I will rate this grade a B for the Jets, a F for Aaron Glenn for going to the Jets. He's going in a bad situation now. But I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go B for this one.
So I'm gonna answer this two ways. As a Saints fan, I was hoping Aaron Glenn would be the Saints' next head coach. I like Aaron Glenn a lot. I think if you know his story, you know how hard he's worked to climb the ladder, to learn not just coaching, but organizationally how things should be, because he worked as a scout and in front office, things of that nature. So as a Saints fan, this is an F because I hate that he's not in New Orleans. But for the Jets' purposes, I think this is an A higher. I think this is an absolute A higher. I believe Aaron Glenn is absolutely ready to not just help that Jets organization, but he's someone who understands that organization because he played there. He was drafted there. He knows that market. He knows how to handle and comport himself in that market. I think he's going to be bought into doing what it takes, but it's going to take time. It's going to take some time. I don't think it's going to be an instant turnaround. Obviously, they got to figure out the situation with Aaron Rodgers, and they got some, plenty of free agents they need to figure out. But also, they got some young guys they need to get locked in. They need to get Garrett Wilson locked in. They need to get Sauce locked in. So it's an A for me.
Got pieces on defense for sure.
He has pieces on defense, and I think they're going to be. They were good defense last year under Robert Saleh. They kind of slipped, when Saleh left, but they were a good defense the last couple years. They do have some pieces, but I'm going to say it's an A in the sense that he's ready for this. He's built for this, and I think he's going to do a good job given time to build it the way he sees it.
And what grade did you give it, Sean, again? You said an A?
An A. I gave it an A.
A. Okay. Next on the list, Sean, the Jacksonville Jaguars are hiring Tampa Bay Bucs offensive coordinator Liam Coen as their new head coach. What do you grade this one, Sean?
So let me say two things, SB. One, this has been one of the strangest processes in a very long time, because originally he pulled out of consideration for the job, part because he didn't want to work for Trent Baalke, the GM. Jacksonville fires the GM. He tells Tampa Bay, I'm coming back. I'm going to be the offensive coordinator. Tampa Bay signs him to a new contract, making him one of the highest paid offensive coordinators in the league. And then he goes back to Jacksonville, and Jacksonville hires him. And as I'm hearing from sources, that this is strange. This does not happen like this. That said, I think this is a very solid hire for Jacksonville. He's shown, again, the last two offensive coordinators for the Bucs, what they've been able to do with that offense, particularly Baker Mayfield, has propelled them into head coaching opportunities. Obviously, Dave Canales in Carolina, and now Liam Coen in Jacksonville. This tells me they're invested in trying to make Trevor Lawrence work. Whether or not Trevor Lawrence will work still remains to be seen, but I think it's a solid hire. He's a young guy. Shad Khan, the owner, seems to be very patient with both of his hires. So I'm going to give this one a B+. I think it's a really solid hire, but he's going to have to fill out a good staff. And obviously they're going to have to find a GM as well to work with him to fill out that roster, because they don't have a GM currently on staff.
What grade you give it?
B+.
B+. For me, for Trevor Lawrence, this is an A+ hire for Trevor Lawrence alone. This guy has a history of being a quarterback coach. There was a couple offensive coordinators, mainly be quarterbacks, so he's a quarterback guy. And I know the Jacksonville Jaguars have been trying to find that guy for Trevor Lawrence. But when you come to head coaches, it's more than just Trevor Lawrence. And my other concerns with, obviously this is his first head coaching opportunity. What can he do? And obviously, the shaky situation that just happened with the Bucs. But we also have to acknowledge the fact of how good the Bucs was and how good Baker Mayfield looked under him. So now you're thinking if he can make Baker Mayfield look like that, what can he do with Trevor Lawrence? And then obviously we still at a point where we're trying to unlock Trevor Lawrence to be that player that they seen from Clemson. So for me personally, I would give this one a B for now. My only concerns will be who else can you improve outside of the quarterback? And how can you manage the defense, or who you going to build up on your staff to manage the defense? Because I believe like with the Jacksonville Jaguars have weapons. I think their offense is going to be better. I believe their offense is probably going to be one of the better offenses in the league. Probably going to rank top 10 next season with what they have, and then what Coen is going to bring in with this team. And I expect a better, a more improved year out of Trevor Lawrence, because I feel like this hire is only for Trevor Lawrence. That's how I feel. So right now, I will give this one a B, Sean. Next on the list, the Raiders hire former Super Bowl winning coach, former Seattle Seahawks head coach, Pete Carroll. What do you grade this one, Sean?
I'm going to give this an incomplete.
Oh, come on, Sean.
No, I'm going to give this an incomplete. And there's two reasons why I'm going to give it incomplete. Number one, I think Pete Carroll is a very solid hire. When you just look at that division of coaches, that is probably the best coaching division in football. And the Raiders, as we talked about, SB, needed someone in the same cachet, maybe not quite, but in the same cachet of Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and obviously, Harbaugh. All coaches, every single coach in that division has been to a Super Bowl. 3 of them have won Super Bowls. So you need someone at that cachet. Why I'm giving it an incomplete is if I can ask the Raiders to do 2 things.
They ain't going to do it.
Technically 3. Number 1, get a coach in waiting on the staff. Pete Carroll is 74 years old. He is not your long-term answer. He can help get things on track, but at 74, he's not your long-term answer, if we're just being honest. And I know he's a youthful guy. He likes to run around and throw the football, things like that. But
I still got it, Sonny. That's type of old man he is.
Right. We got to be honest. We got to just be honest about where he is. So when you fill out this staff, please have somebody on staff that you view as a coach in waiting under Pete Carroll, that Pete Carroll can learn under Pete Carroll. So when he does eventually retire or transition away from coaching, whatever he does, you can keep the train rolling. You're not, again, having that constant turnover. The second thing is that obviously they're linking Russell Wilson to the Raiders now.
Please do it.
I think it would be a solid move for the Raiders to do it if you get a quarterback in waiting on the roster behind Russell Wilson. Because let's be clear, Raiders, Russell ain't your long-term future as Sierra.
I can't deal with you now. I see what you did, but I can't deal with you now. You keep going. You keep going. What you grade this, Sean? You got to give me something, man.
No, it's an incomplete grade for me with those 2 things. That's all I'm saying. Until I see what happens with those 2 things, it's an incomplete for me.
Future bar was crazy, by the way. For me, I hope they do get Russell Wilson. That'll be happy day for me as a Charger fan. But I remember it was like 2 episodes ago when we talked about the Raiders looking for a coach. And I said, when you look at that division of coaching, that might be the best division of coaches. You got Andy Reid, you got Sean Payton, you got Harbaugh. You cannot bring a first-time coach into this situation. And that's what I like what the Raiders kind of did with this move, with this hire, because imagine a first-time head coach and he looking across from Sean Payton in Denver. It's going to be a master class of coaching going on. He's going to work you. Then you got to go see Harbaugh, Mr. Motivator, then just turn the Chargers around. I don't think you want to see that. Then you go see possibly one of the greatest coaches of all time, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You can't put no newcomer, no first-time coach in that situation. He'll lose his job that first year because it'd be crazy that he'd probably lose every game in his division just off coaching alone. So I love the fact that they went and got a vet. I do agree with you that they do need to have somebody in waiting because Pete Carroll is old. I disagree with going to go get Russell Wilson. I mean, being honest, if me as a Chargers fan, I would love for them to go get Russell Wilson. Please start him. I think you should just go get your guy. Just get your guy now. If you can't get him, go get him now. Just get your young guy and work with him because you got Brock Bowers there looking like he's going to be the next stud tight end. You need to just establish your future. Get your good person right there. I didn't want to say future because we talking about Russell Wilson. I give this move off the chest move along with a vet piece an A because of knowing that you needed to get a vet coach because of how prestige coaching is in this division. Yes, this is the best division when it comes to coaching. When you look down the list of all the coaches in the AFC West, it's no better three-stack of coaches at that point in time. But I do agree that you do need to have somebody in wait because I can see you getting 3 to 4 years out of Pete Carroll, and after that, you got to let him walk. Or you got to let him go ahead and retire because he's going to be getting ready to push 80. You don't need no 80-year-old man out there trying to coach. I'm sorry. But, yes, I'm going to give it an A just off the chest move alone of getting the vet guy to understand that you cannot go get any new guy and expect him to do it. You set him up for failure. One, you got roster problems, and then two, your division is a gauntlet of hell when it comes to coaching. But going to get a vet, I give it an A just off that alone. Now we gotta wait and see what Pete Carroll gonna do with this team. Sean, it's conference championship